Well, Jim, a frustrating night for you this evening, and it seemed that Nuneaton really managed that game out very well in the end, but frustrating for you, I'm sure.
We always knew it was going to be quite tight, because you only have to look at their record in the last 6 games. 1 goal conceded, and you can see why. Solid back four, a very hard working midfield, and a constant goal threat, and all the details of what Dino's done with them is paying off for them. And you know, I thought they were a good side, and they knew what they were doing. I looked at our team and I thought there was gaps, a little bit of tiredness, a little bit of ragged play, things not being done quite well, and that's the fine margins. And once they got the goal, we always felt it was going to be difficult. Tried all our options, threatened for periods, but unfortunately we didn't put them under enough pressure to get the goal. You
can see why they just keep getting 1-0 wins away from home, can't you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're not overly defensive, but they've obviously got their game plan. The back four stays at home unless they've got good possession. I think the 4, 10 and 7 work extremely hard to make them look solid out of possession, but still give them a threat when they break. You know, so their counter-attacking and the transitional counters were really good, and stretched us. But like I said, we're just a little bit disappointed with the goal, and disappointed with the opportunities that we did create, that we didn't work the keeper enough.
Yeah, it was a scruffy goal to decide, a scruffy game in some ways, wasn't it? Because it's come off the back of Ben Hinchliffe. There's an element of good fortune for them for the goal.
Yeah, well, you know, like I said, it's I don't know if it'll go down as an own goal, but like I said, those things happen, and I always felt that the first goal would be critical in terms of the energy and the mentality it would give either side. I just didn't think that we looked like we had enough players with the right mentality and the energy to respond to going behind and to lift our game. For about 10 or 15 minutes of the second half, we looked like we had that, and I was hoping that the subs that come on would give us a little bit, and they gave us the odd spot, but didn't really overly influence the outcome, considering we were free attackers. We didn't seem to have as many chances, but disappointed. And I think, you know, without being too harsh on the lads, I think we've seen Dino's work over the last 6 or 7 weeks in terms of full time, getting the lads fitter, getting them well organised, working on the training ground, and it's paying off because they look a really good side at the moment.
You made a big call before kick-off to play Jimmy Ball as a number 9 today. Obviously, if he does what he did against Maidenhead, you're a genius. He doesn't score a goal tonight, and Jason comes on and doesn't score either. What was the thinking behind the decision? Is it just that Jason's not scored for 6 or 7 games?
Well, if I say anything too negative, Jason and all his fans will jump on me back. 7 games, no goals, no assists. You look at the recent performances, the goals have come from Matty, Darren, Jimmy Ball when he's been used as a 9, assists from Jimmy. I thought Jimmy would have more legs to get him behind, because I thought we had to break the back four more consistently. And you could see the threat from Jimmy in the first half, in terms of the one where he got away and he forced the keeper into his first good save. I just thought that we were quite scruffy in terms of how we got the ball to them too, and they were up against the back four, and Matty never really got himself released to play any killer passes, and I just thought that the other 7 that were playing, you know, the 3 and the 4, should have taken more ownership of the game, moved the ball better, pulled the back 4 apart a little bit better, and gave the front 3 a better service. And but like I said, you know, people can, if they want to, people can blame that decision to play Jason, to leave Jason on the bench and play Jimmy. I don't see that as the reason we've lost today. There's lots of details, there's lots of issues that we've got going on in terms of the way that that we're playing, that I've been conscious of even when we're winning, and even when we've got these sort of great results against Maidenhead. I'm conscious that there's so much more to be improved, and there's lots of our players today who look like part-time players.
In fairness, if you don't get the ball into the box too often, it doesn't matter who's number 9, you're not going to score, really, are you?
Yeah, well, look, that's what I'm saying. It comes down to the approach play, and you look at across the, you know, the back 4 and the midfield 4. Did they move the ball from side to side enough, or back to front with enough quality? And you know, it was epitomised by some really sloppy play, whereas they had a lot of players who were a lot more controlled, willing to step into space, play a little bit more measured passes, and in some regards probably knew the pass they were going to play, knew what the players were going to do in front of them in terms of pulling into space, you know, turning people. I thought they played their game very, very well. And if they play their game really well and we don't, then you're going to end up with a 1-0 defeat rather than wins.
It's your first defeat here though since October, but how damaging is it now? You remain 5 points adrift of the playoffs. Are they still a realistic target though? Has it damaged your season that much?
Well, I think even Nuneaton and Boston and other teams below us will all be thinking they've got a chance. There's a lot of football to be played. The danger was, you know, we've had 2 really good wins that have got us back in the hunt. But unfortunately, we need all our best players playing well, and unfortunately, we seem to have 1 or 2 that play really well, and then others are off form, and that's been a lament of the whole season, really, that we haven't had somebody that's been top star, you know, top quality all the way through. We've had players have phases. But yeah, look, I don't know. All we have to do is dust ourselves down, go into the Brackley game, and then we'll worry about the next league game. And I think there's a lot to play for this season. And I think that when you've got the sort of games we have against the teams below us, and the games against teams in the playoffs, then it's very much in our own hands. But we need to come away from today and realise that no matter what we've done in the last 4 games, we don't look a good team tonight, and we have to work hard on the training ground. And that's tough when you've only got a limited amount of time with them.
Just a quick word on Sam Minihan. How far away is he now?
Sam's been kicking a ball today. You know, I think part of it, he's just making good progress. He looks physically good. Obviously, he's going to be short of the kind of match fitness and the match confidence. So I think it's just a question of him stepping up what he's doing football-wise. I think the next stage for him probably on Thursday is to get more involved in the technical work and then start easing himself into the kind of a environment where there's contact. And it's all just about confidence building. I don't think Sam's the answer to what we have at the moment. I think we just need a lot of players to sort of just tidy up their game a little bit, make better decisions with the ball, especially when the ball's dead, like goal kicks and throw-ins and corners, make better decisions. And play to the script. Unfortunately, we've got too many players tonight that I was disappointed that they were making it up, what they were doing. And if they make it up, then people around them won't know what they're doing. But like I said, there's lots of positives, but the result is obviously negative, and it's a disappointing defeat. And you know, with some of our fans, the whole world's going to cave in tonight, and there'll be other fans who'll just be looking forward to Saturday and thinking, let's put it right there and get back to winning ways over the course of the next couple of weeks. A lot of football to be played, a lot of excitement to be ahead for us, and I think that what we need to do is just not be too harsh on ourselves after tonight's game. Realise we're up against a good side that are in a good, rich vein of form and well organised and structured. And what we have to do is make sure that we compete extremely well on Saturday now, because our fans will be coming out to support that game and wanting a response.
Well, a win in a quarter-final obviously will lift any malaise from tonight, won't it?
Well, you know, I said this after the FA Cup game when, you know, FC can celebrate, but ultimately get judged on the league, and I know I'll get judged on the league, and our players will get judged on the league. I mean, some of them will come away from this season and think I've scored a lot of goals and I've done myself credit, but ultimately the value to players and the value to a team, the value to a club is all about being successful in the league and being in the top reaches. That's what they're the type of clubs and people that people want to deal with. So I think we need to get ourselves dusted down after today, go away, have a think about the way that we're shaping up, and work really, really hard on the training ground and just keep improving and get back to the sort of qualities that we've shown over the last 4 or 5 games.
Commiseration, Jim. Thanks for your time.